And we are tracking that breaking news in Texas this hour. A shooting at a Walmart has led to multiple deaths and more than 20 people wounded. Our Megan Roberts is following this and has more. Megan.
Arthi, police say that they have no statements right now on any motive, any reason for this. They say it's simply too early in the investigation. Right now, what they're doing at the scene, which you're looking at there, is switching over to from an active shooting scene to like a crime scene investigation, a homicide scene. You can see how many people are still on the ground there. We know that there have been multiple deaths. We know that there have been multiple injuries. We don't know the exact number right now, but we are seeing that some American media are reporting, according to the University Medical Center of El Paso, that there are 11 victims who went to that hospital and another 11 victims that went to the Del Sol Medical Center in El Paso as well. So that suggests there could be up to 22 at least injured. Again, that's unconfirmed from CBC, but we're seeing those reports on American media right now. No word again on how many fatalities there may have been. Police say that there are multiple scenes, mainly at the Cielo Vista Mall, as well as a Walmart near there. They say that they cannot confirm yet what kind of weapon was used in the shooting, but that initial reports point to a rifle. You can see there were quite a few people in the mall as we see people streaming out, trying to get to safety. We also heard from Walmart, because that shop, that store was such a center of this investigation. Walmart saying it's in shock over the tragic events, saying that they are praying for the victims, community associates, first responders, and also working closely with law enforcement. They'll provide updates as possible. This all started unfolding around 11 a.m. local time at this Walmart at the Cielo Vista Mall, which is about 5.4 kilometers south of the airport. There are multiple law enforcement bodies on scene, the local El Paso Police Force, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, as well as the Texas Department of Public Safety and the FBI. And they are asking people to stay away from the mall right now as they investigate, because they say there's no imminent threat right now. They do have one suspect in custody, but there are still tactical teams doing sweeps of the area. So the important information to keep in mind right now, there are multiple fatalities. We do not know exactly how many. There are people that are injured. Again, we don't know exactly how many, though reports suggesting more than 20. One suspect in custody, and police say there's no imminent threat to the public at this time. Arthi.
All right, thank you for this, Megan. And now to get more from the community of El Paso, we've reached out to a city councillor there, Peter Schwartzbein. He joins us now. Thank you for being with us today.
Thank you very much for having me.
First, I just want to start by asking you how you're reacting to this news and when you first heard it.
Well, you know, it was another Saturday morning here. I was going out walking my dogs, and I got a text message from our El Paso Police 911 dispatch about an active shooter at a Walmart near Cielo Vista Mall on the east side of El Paso. I shared that with our different social media feeds, our Facebook, letting people know about it, and it's been a surreal experience.
Now, certainly we have been looking at the images from the scene too, and just the number of people who were at this particular shopping mall. What is a typical Saturday like at this particular location? How busy is it?
So that's a really good question. So that Walmart that's there on the east side and that mall, Cielo Vista Mall, are probably some of the most busiest malls and Walmarts that we have in our city. And quite honestly, they're one of the most busiest Walmarts that are there in the country. Our economy and our culture intertwined with our sister city in Ciudad Juarez, Mexico. So what you would be seeing at 11 o'clock at this Walmart would be tons of families, a lot of folks coming in from Juarez, Mexican nationals coming in to shop. It's a back to school weekend. So you'd see people out there, Mexican nationals. You probably see as many license plates from Chihuahua, Mexico as you would see from Texas. That are out shopping, getting something to eat, and then going back home to Juarez later in the afternoon. So that's what you'd be seeing there. You'd be seeing the full force. We never really have had the same retail sort of shut down with malls as you've seen in other communities across the United States because of our proximity to northern Mexico and our sister city of Ciudad Juarez.
Now, we also know that there's about, I think, 680,000 was the population that has been listed about your community. It seems like it's a pretty tight-knit community. How are people reacting there today? What have you heard from residents?
So, I mean, a lot of people are concerned. You know, when you talk about our community, it's about 900,000 in the county of El Paso. We have another 1.5 million that literally are right next door to our city in Ciudad Juarez. We share the same river valley, and then you have another 200,000 in Las Cruces, New Mexico. So we're looking at almost a population of 3 million people here. What has been going on is a lot of concern and shock. Our community has been dealing with a lot of the migrant issues that have been going on in our community. Has really stepped up with compassion and with heart in helping with these asylum seekers that have been coming through our community to go to their different destinations with their families in the United States. So we've been making it a point as a community as a whole to really step up. So to see something like this really sort of flies in the face of it. El Paso has been one of the safest communities in the United States for the better part of 10 years. With FBI's own information, we're consistently one of the safest cities above 500,000 people. It's usually us in New York going neck and neck for the safest city in the United States. So a shooting like this is really a sort of unconscionable thing. But let's be honest, this shouldn't be acceptable in any city in the United States, let alone anywhere in the world. And yet it's almost become commonplace to see these kind of shootings happening again and again in our cities in the United States. And it needs to stop.
And very finally, I wanted to ask you, Peter, what sort of message do you have for people living in your community who are learning of this news now? And quite certainly, we imagine most of them are alarmed.
Yeah, I would say that, you know, it's important to understand that we have our best out with our police force, that, you know, we need to pray for our first responders, our police and the other government organizations that are stepping up to make sure that we're kept safe during this. But that this is not what our city is about. We know that we're in a safe city. We know that we have a tolerant and loving city, and we need to be El Paso proud. And at a day like this, where we have folks coming from both sides of our border to come and shop and enjoy the best of what we have here in El Paso, we have to stand strong and say this isn't what we're about, and make sure that we fight the kind of evil that would want to see this happen in any community in the United States or in any community in this world.